I said that I would talk a little bit about awakening. What is a spiritual awakening? And really the only way I can do that is to tell you about my own awakening and ask you to reflect on it in terms of your own experience. For me, as most of you know, my teacher, Rudi, Swami Rudrananda, basically offered himself as a gateway into a totally different inner state. And for me, it was really a tremendous opportunity to let go of a lot of patterns and tensions and identities. So really within the first year that I was with Rudi, I went through a tremendously powerful awakening experience. Sometimes it was scary, sometimes it was totally wonderful, sometimes it was various levels of experience and dimensions that I had never contacted before. But the main thing that happened in that transaction, particularly the first year, was that I really took to heart what he said. I opened to it, I committed myself to it, and I have done it every day since. Every day I have done the same practice. I have asked myself to please open to this deeper dimension that he showed me. You know, he said some very simple things. He said, surrender is the key. And, you know, when I had these first initial extremely powerful experiences, that became very clear to me. It was the wish that I brought inside myself and the intensity, earnestness of that wish and the prioritizing, you know, beyond anything else in my life, to open to this other dimension. That did it. It wasn't that I was smart or pretty or clever or this or that or anything else. It was very simply that I took what he said and represented super, super, super seriously. Not in a heavy sense, but in a very intense sense. Kabir said it's the intensity of the wish that does all the work. So the intensity of the wish makes this awakening possible, because in that deep wish and the surrender that has to be a part of that, your whole system opens to the fact that you are not any of these identities that you thought you are. I mean, my identities were dropping left and right and right. And I realized, well, gee, you know, I am nothing. I had glimpses of that. And the very, very liberating aspect of that experience was that, oh, I just am. I am that flow of energy, and I am, as I examine that flow of energy in myself, I realize, I just am. It's very simple. And when I look more carefully into that, what I am, what is the source of that I am? Well, it is the Parashiva, is the infinite, unlimited potential outside of time and space to manifest and become time and space. So, from this awakening that I'm describing, you can then commit yourself to reflecting on and witness everything as your life unfolds, and just relate to it as a movie that you don't have to take as reality in any serious sense. You can see it unfolding, but you are just witnessing it. And the witnessing itself is a tremendous, joyful experience beyond time and space, or you feel that you are connected beyond time and space. So that witness awareness we can cultivate. It takes time to really become immersed in it. But if you have an awakening due to your own deep wish for it, and due to a contact with somebody who has gone through that and represents a doorway for you, if you use that, then it will happen. But if you stay, with the mind, and you think about this and you think about that, you worry about that, all of the activities of the mind, and you worry about your identities and so on, then those are the things that will stop you from having a real awakening. So the issue then, once you've had an awakening, is to really feel the gratitude for having had it, and to continue to pour yourself into that. To every time something comes up, the mind wants your attention. You want to identify with this or that, and everything is wrong and whatever. And just shifting, pulling back, and then looking at whatever you are experiencing from that witness perspective. By doing that, you are continuing to nurture the initial awakening, and it becomes more and more and more your one and only underlying reality, that from which you see and experience everything. I mean, Nisargadatta, who was a great teacher in India around the same time of Bhagavan Nityananda, he said, I was never born and I will never die. How can you say that and really mean it? Well, you can only say that and mean it by being completely surrendered into the state where there are no identities that are captivating your attention. In other words, where you have surrendered the mind, the mind continues to work and you use it in your practical life, but it does not keep you from being in a witness awareness, to be connected with that still point, that opening into that which is beyond time and space. That we can call Parashiva or a number of other things, but it costs to be immersed in that. It costs everything you have in a way of identities. But the reward is that you become identified, identical with, unified with the unlimited potential at the core of all of our being. What are we waiting for? Let's do it before we drop this body. I mean, this is serious stuff. Serious stuff. So it takes a serious commitment. It takes a serious, very earnest intent. And of course, on the way there, to this total recognition of, or an immersion with the Parashiva, you also have a lot of joy and liberating experiences of dropping various things, that creates problems. Become gradually more and more free. That initial awakening, though, is what you need to return to again and again and again, and invest in, and make your underlying witness awareness. For me, Rudi was and is a gateway. And that gateway is to walk through. It's not to sit in front of and admire and decorate. If you think of Rudi, think of him as a doorway that opened up to walk through, and who made other doorways through contact with him that can also provide the same opportunity. That's the essence of it. That was the purpose of his life. He didn't care a whit for being admired or decorated as such. What he cared about was being totally open, being totally connected with this Parashiva himself,